Long ago it was discovered that the more ignorant and unaware a populace is, the easier it is to control. Control is a sticky issue and can describe the simple maintenance of order or the subjugation of a population. Unfortunately, it would seem that the recent push to privatize schooling is a move meant to further stratify our own populace and more directly ensure that power is retained by wealthy families, and reduce the number of people from poorer families who manage to accomplish great deeds. Regardless, this is more about the rest of the world than the iniquity that we see growing in America. The problem for the world today is that many developing nations are struggling to catch up, and many smaller nations are hardly even attempting to develop at all. As this continues, many millions of people throughout the world are easily manipulated for petty political and religious goals, and continue to be exploited for commercial gain. I cannot count the number of videos that I have seen of people, including children, being paid barely enough to survive, or even being paid only in meager food supplies, for working 60 to 80 hours a week, often in hazardous conditions. Obviously, this is a symptom of a much greater problem, but it is a problem that we can only truly solve by solving the energy crisis. It is a sad comment on the world today that the lifestyles of the richest industrialized nations can only be supported through the systematic economic enslavement of the uneducated and unsophisticated citizens of third world nations. Beyond this, it is becoming increasingly apparent that only the ignorant and indoctrinated are easily incited towards warfare. Over the last century, as the American people have become increasingly better educated as a whole, it has become much more difficult to get the people to actually support military actions of any kind. To me, this says two things. First, it only stresses even more vividly that not only can we not let our public education system degrade any further, but that we must bolster it so that even the so-called underprivileged children living in poverty receive the education that they deserve and desire. But second, it shows that the only way to reduce the types of violent military conflict that we see in the world today, and to safeguard the liberty of all of the people of the world, is to rapidly develop robust education systems in all nations, even those whom we currently prey upon to feed our consumeristic lifestyles. Obviously, we need to solve the energy crisis before we can develop all of the resources necessary to allow everyone in the world to enjoy a healthy and satisfying lifestyle. But in so doing, it seems only fitting that our next immediate task would be to bring the gift of education to all of those who have suffered to build the technological and industrial wealth that we are so proud of.